I'm Nina Samuels, and apparently you have nothing better to do with your time, so you are listening to the Holy Shoot podcast.
Gentlemen, and welcome to this second edition of the Holy Shoot Wrestling Challenge. For both our previous and new listeners, we have upgraded and changed the format completely, and instead of a weekly roundup, we thought we would become a weekly debate show. We will also be doing interviews, courtesy of our co-host Jason, on a regular basis too, but that will be our secondary brand. So, what is a Holy Shoot Wrestling Challenge? I hear you ask. The Holy Shoot Wrestling Challenge is a new wrestling quiz where the arguments, not your overall opinion, wins. Each week, our guests will go head-to-head over 5 rounds and debate topics that are either relevant to right now or will be themed. After that, we will have the 3-count round. The 3-count round will be where the two competitors are forced pick between one or two options, and will have 30 seconds to say why their option is the best. Again, it's not what they choose, but wins, but their arguments. Simple? Got it. I fucked that up. Never mind. Anyway, the winner will be whoever has the most points at the end. In the event of a tie after 8 rounds, we will go to a tiebreaker. Right. The following contest is scheduled for 1 fall, and it is a singles match. Introduce him first. He has a record of 0-1. He is from Woking, Surrey. Jason JC Cornett Norris.
Good day, everyone.
And from Colindale, London. Oh, Chenny boy. He gets knocked down, but he gets up again. You're never going to keep Chen down. Chen.
What's up?
And also joining us is our special guest referee, Chris.
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's a long time no see, Chris.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, go away. Anyway, how are you doing, guys?
Yeah, good. Good to be back in the Holy Shoot studios with everyone doing this episode.
Yeah, we're back in secret headquarters in Shoreditch.
Good to see you all in person.
Yeah, good to see you too. I'm trying to drink my coffee. What have you been up to this week, gentlemen?
What have I been up to? SummerSlam. NXT TakeOver and SummerSlam, which was a really good 1-2 punch.
Yeah, really good 1-2 punch. No G1 though?
I've lost track of the G1.
Same here.
There's just too much of it. Too much G1.
Too much G1, not enough WWE apparently.
Yeah.
Chen, how's your week been?
Busy.
In a good way, busy?
Yeah. Just going out socially, enjoying the summer, or what's remaining of summer, getting drunk, meeting people, catching up.
That's very nice. Me and Chris, speaking of drinking, we went to the craft beer festival down Tobacco Dock.
We did, yeah. We had a few beers,
We had
say least.
We had a few too many beers.
Yeah. I stayed out after Brod left and had many more beers. And I've been spending most of the week recovering. So, yeah.
Yeah, I went out on the Friday night and, Saturday was not great. I went to the wrong location, first and foremost. I thought it was near the Truman Brewery in Liverpool Street. Oh no, it was down in Shadwell, in the Tobacco Dock. So, I was about an hour and a half late, wasn't I?
What an idiot.
Well, I didn't need extra alcohol. I need it badly. Anyway, that's our general banter section over with. Let's get on with the actual fighting, gentlemen. This week, our questions will be more focused towards SummerSlam and NXT TakeOver after an electric weekend of good old-fashioned WWE wrestling. So, my first question, let's jump straight to it. What was the best match at SummerSlam this year? Chen, you, since you're the debutante, go first.
This might surprise some people, but it's the match I had low expectations for, and that was Charlotte versus Trish.
Ooh, care to explain? You got a minute.
Well, everyone knows that this was just like a retirement match for Trish, but you look at the current female wrestlers against the older generations, and the older generations, they're not just as athletic as the current generation. But I was like, wow, Trish can actually keep up with Charlotte. Maybe Charlotte did slow herself down a bit, but I thought it was a really, really entertaining match. Ring psychology was great. The story they were telling. And, you know, I was actually surprised it went for like 15 minutes, but I enjoyed that good 15 minutes.
Fair enough. Jason, what was your match of the night?
So, this is going to surprise you. It's probably an odd choice, but the match of the night was clearly Goldberg versus Dolph Ziggler.
Whoa! Goldberg versus Ziggy.
So, let's think about this. Odd choice, but it was perfectly done. Super hot start with those super kicks from Dolph Ziggler. The crowd in the arena came alive, and they believed Ziggler could actually do this, which no one was thinking before the bell. And they had you, and everyone I was watching with was into it. And just when you started to believe maybe it was going to happen, Goldberg hit his routine, and he hit it perfectly. He didn't screw it up once. Every move was crisp. It was brutal. Short 2-minute match, but then the follow-up was Ziggler selling and taking more punishment. The live crowd and the people I was watching with loved that as well. It was also a surprise being the second match on the card. Mm-hmm. And if you look at it, it was the most fun. And tell me one thing that was bad about this match.
Chen, I believe that's a challenge laid down to you. Tell Jason why that match has something bad about it.
I'll tell you why. This is an old timer making up from previous mistake of the Saudi Arabia show. And he's taking time away from younger talent who could be using that spot more better than he can. Wow, 3 spears and a jackhammer. Wow, so entertained. That was my time to go and get wings from where I was watching.
You missed a great match. Okay. You made a mistake. That was 2 minutes of just insanely high tempo action.
I will say this. No, till this day, no one can do a spear as good as Goldberg. But
I'm glad you agree.
But
Caitlin?
Just let him retire. Just go away, Goldberg.
This was a perfect use of Goldberg. Did you not think the crowd we were watching it with and the crowd went mental for this match?
No.
You must have not been listening. Compare that to Trish v Charlotte. Yeah, it was good, but how much of it do you really remember? It was all right. It was like, we were surprised how well Trish did, but I don't think anyone was captivated and really got into it in the same way that everyone bought into those 2 minutes of magic.
So you're saying you and the rest of the audience have a short attention span, that you can only remember a 2-minute match. That only had like 3 moves. A super kick, a jackhammer, and a spear.
Yeah, and it was perfectly done. And the crowd went mental. You believed Dolph might actually do it. People bought in. It was fun as hell. And I was pleasantly surprised. Whereas Trish v Charlotte, it was very nice.
All I remember is that crowd was into that match because it was in Canada as well.
Whereas Goldberg and Dolph had them into it despite having no Canadians into it, and the crowd went mental. I think the crowd was loudest all night during that match. I think the 13,000 people in that arena completely would agree with me on what was the best match and the match they enjoyed the most.
You think that got the loudest pop?
Yeah, I mean, maybe the only thing near it would have been The Fiend.
Yeah, that got the loudest pop.
And that's like for the special attraction.
We're talking about the best match of the night.
Yeah, I'm saying what's the best match of the night? The one that had the 5-star Meltzer Classic in the Tokyo Dome, or the one that you remember the most and had the most fun?
Imagine you paid $300 for a ticket.
I'd have got
for a 2-minute match.
Well, I wouldn't have been paying for that match, but I would have been paying for that version of that match. That's exactly what I wanted. And I got the extra stuff because I believe Dolph is actually, holy shit, he might actually do this.
You're just living off nostalgia.
I'm not living off nostalgia. I'm living off what was the most fun to have happen there.
I think Trish could teach Goldberg some extra wrestling moves.
I do think it's funny you're telling me I'm living off nostalgia, and now your other argument is Trish. I'd like to understand.
Yeah, but it was a retirement match. Trish is never going to wrestle again.
Really?
Goldberg should have retired since Survivor Series.
Who said either of them was a retirement match?
It was.
Trish did.
She came out and said it afterwards?
Yeah, no, she said it before as well.
When did she say it before?
I think it might be on social media, but it was actually
she did say
she
said it was for a kid and it's her last
she said it on social media. I did not know that.
She did the honours of putting Charlotte over.
I did not know that was a retirement match because it was social media, so I bet 95% of people didn't know that either.
I would have said maybe Goldberg should have wrestled someone better, like Braun Strowman, put Braun Strowman over. But, I mean, Ziggler is a part-timer. What's the point of this match?
Goldberg versus Strowman. That'll go well. Saudi Arabia, part 2.
I would love to see Goldberg getting selling the bulldozer, what that Braun Strowman does. But obviously, it's probably in his contract that he can't sell for nobody.
He sold for Dolph
Unless he
Ziggler.
injures
He sold
himself.
2 super kicks and went down for 2 close pins. That was selling. That was brilliantly done.
Both
to
of them
kickstart
were
the match.
at 1 count. Again,
Yeah.
fact correct. Just correcting you factually, that was... Both of them were 1 count.
But did you not believe that after seeing
No.
2 of them, but maybe this is going to be an amazing upset?
No.
People bought in. Everyone knew Charlotte was winning her match. There was never a doubt that Trish was going to suddenly
And
win
everyone
it.
knew Goldberg was winning his match.
Yeah, they did. But when the match
Even
started...
before the match
I mean, during
was
the
announced,
match...
when the match was first announced, everyone was like, what the hell?
But during the
Goldberg
match,
versus
you
Ziggler.
believe Dolph might actually...
No.
Christ, he might do it, where
That's
you
when
never believed Trish was going to win.
That's when I called the waiter over and said, "Hi, can I get some beers for my friends and some wings?" Clearly, you didn't get those beers or wings because you're not my friend.
Ooh, savage.
It's true, it's fair.
Right, any final thoughts before we wrap up this round?
I believe the entire live crowd would agree with me as to which match they enjoyed the most, as well as the majority of people watching.
Chen, your final thoughts?
I think the rest of the world globally, especially those subscribed to the WWE Network, would disagree.
Right. I've listened to both your arguments. I think Chen made a very valid point of the fact that, well, so what if you knew Charlotte was going over? You also knew Goldberg was going over. That's cancelled out by the part-timers. I think it did help that, Trish did put over Charlotte at the end. I think that's one thing that Chen mentioned. This is a close battle, but I got to give the first point to Chen. I think he just made 1 or 2 more valid points than you. I think crowd reaction does not equate to equal best match. And I think that was the problem. You're relying too much on crowd reaction.
I was relying on the overall package, but fair enough.
So, let's move on. It was announced on Raw this week that from next week we will see 16 men compete in a King of the Ring tournament. Therefore, my question is, who should win the King of the Ring tournament? For those at home that do not know, basically there are 16 competitors this year at the King of the Ring, and they are Ali, Andrade, Apollo Crews, Baron Corbin, Buddy Murphy, Cedric Alexander, Cesaro, Chad Gable, Drew McIntyre, Elias, The Miz, Kevin Owens, Ricochet, Sami Zayn, Samoa Joe, and Shelton Benjamin. Those are the 16 names in the tournament. But again, I throw it to you guys. Who do you think should win King of the Ring 2019?
So I'm up first for this one. So King of the Ring is actually a bit of a tied gimmick, the king thing. But if you're going to be a proper king, you need to be a heel. So we'll start with that. I'm picking Drew.
King Drew.
Because I think as king, alongside Shane, the best in the world, this could actually work really well. Many winners of King of the Ring flop. Everyone thinks it puts you on the path to stardom. It does not. The last few winners it's not done anything for them. I think Drew could turn this around, and it could actually be the start of his rise up the card. He's big enough to not worry about the whole crown king gimmick. I don't see him with a crown and a scepter and all that crap. He's actually going to be a big king wearing a cool t-shirt, referring to himself as the king of wrestling, the true king of wrestling. It ties into his attitude, and it could actually be more of a monkey rather than a whole gimmick that he'll be living off of. And so looking ahead, I can also see the King of Kings laying down to put him over in a big match to really put him over the top in the long run.
Chen.
I'm looking at the names, and it's like Jason said. It's not as big as it is. But I think if you had like a minor wrestler or a mediocre wrestler win it, it can push them into the main event storylines.
Okay, so who's your pick?
So my pick is either going to be Buddy Murphy or Chad Gable.
You got to pick one, mate. You got to pick one.
I'll say then Buddy Murphy.
Okay, why Buddy Murphy?
Because I personally think he's really, really talented, wrestling ability, and he's great on the mic. He just needs something going for him. And this past week on SmackDown, he got in a storyline with Roman Reigns, and that's a great thing. He's part of a storyline now. But to keep him on television, I think he will make the most out of this King of the Ring gimmick. Whereas someone like Drew Baron Corbin, Ricochet, The Miz, Samoa Joe, they're all on TV every week, heavily featured. So they don't need this gimmick.
Cool. Right, murder each other, gentlemen,
So-
for my entertainment.
Yeah, you think this is going to make Buddy Murphy into a star, and that's what it should do. King of the Ring winners, it does not make you a star. It's just something you have to deal with unless you've got a really strong character to make it work. The last winner was Bad News Barrett. It did nothing for him apart from getting a crappy gimmick, and he still kept losing. It added nothing to Sheamus. It added nothing to William Regal. Booker T kind of made it work because it was so absurd. But if you look back over the many winners, people like Billy Gunn, it did nothing for their career. It's not a star maker. It can't be a star maker. You need to be thinking who can actually use this for something else to maybe like add something additional to their gimmick. It's not helping Buddy Murphy. It's helping Drew because it's giving him that little something else to make him the true king.
I think you're wrong. Drew is too big for this tournament. Just like Kevin Owens is too big for this tournament. They're both involved in a storyline with a McMahon. That's bigger than any King of the Ring. Or even some people could say it's bigger than any title.
But you're the king for a year.
So what?
So eventually you probably end up finishing your storyline with Shane McMahon if you're at Kevin Owens. Or with Drew, it actually gives him something a year long with
But
Shane to work on
Drew
together.
has so much momentum. He doesn't need this stupid
Doesn't have momentum.
title.
Drew has no real momentum.
Drew's had momentum since he entered the main roster.
What momentum does he have now? He's trading wins with Cedric Alexander. He's not on the last pay-per-view. He's just hanging around with Shane being a big tough guy.
Yeah,
For
but
him,
he's
the king
involved
thing
with the
could
McMahon.
actually help him be the king alongside the best wrestler. They can do something a lot more there.
Yeah, he missed one pay-per-view. So what? He was in the previous pay-per-view as Shane McMahon's tag partner with The Undertaker.
Yeah, and that was
And
like a
Roman
few months
Reigns.
ago now.
That was last month.
But what's he actually doing?
was
apart
And
from that?
and he's been on TV every week, heavily
You think,
featured.
but you think he's got momentum?
Okay, these wrestlers are just gonna waste, they don't need this. Give it to someone who can actually use this to push their career.
How do you see Buddy working as a king?
I don't know, but Buddy can wrestle out.
So
he's really, really
you pick
talented.
Buddy and you don't know how he's going to work the whole king gimmick, but he's your choice.
Yeah, but it's about who can make the most of this opportunity.
So how's he going to make the most of it?
He's good on the mic. He's really, really talented.
Buddy Murphy is
And he
not
needs
known
this.
for his mic skills.
I was gonna say Andrade, but he can't speak English very well. But I think Buddy Murphy, it's about who can make the most of it. Like you said, Booker T came along and made it work. You can put Austin and everyone on it. Austin made the most of it because of that bloody speech he did. But no one actually remembers the actual matches he went through. They just remember the speech.
I've made my decision, and it's pretty clear. Jason wins a point. You came in unprepared for this one. You knew the question, and I think Jason's arguments were all strong. I think you had one decent point, which was Drew McIntyre was in a tag match with The Undertaker, but apart from that, you didn't really explain why Buddy Murphy should win.
Sorry, just to say, that was an absolute TKO right there.
Yeah.
There was no coming back from that.
Yeah, I mean, goddamn, that was quicker than falling down like Ben Askren in the UFC.
Stop, he's already dead kind of moment there.
Pretty much. Speaking of dead, Becky Lynch is dead after the return of Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks made a return to WWE this week, and it's her first appearance since WrestleMania 35. I was there, so was Jason. What did you think of her return on Raw? Chen, you get to go first.
I think it was to be expected. She was gonna return sometime soon. I'm surprised they threw her into the main title picture, but I guess Becky needs competition now. She's pretty much faced everyone. And I'm surprised the whole heel turn with Sasha is happening with Becky instead of Bayley like it did in NXT, but Becky is the hottest thing on the roster right now, so it makes sense.
So did you like it or not?
Yeah, I loved it. I loved the chair shots and everything. I loved the viciousness.
Cool. Jason.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an amazing return. I'm confused by a couple of Chen's comments in terms of like this heel return and going up against the boss.
No, I want to hear your thoughts first before you attack Chen.
Yeah, well, I'm about to explain it because my points are, she's the boss. This is like the NXT version, what we never saw on the main roster. She's an amazing heel. Her best work was in NXT as a heel. I'm really excited that we're going to see the boss up against the man. You know, she was doing the stupid hugging thing, loving the fans. And by the way, I love the way she came to the ring playing nice. She even was like shaking hands with fans. She was playing it up completely. People believed she was coming out to be nice to everyone. And then she popped Natty right in the face. That was really well done, the way she popped her in the face. That was more interesting to me than the chair shots. But for me, she's now in the money feud, and Becky has needed a proper heel to work with. But, you know, Sasha does not need your approval. She's not here for the fans. She's perfect to feud with Becky for several months. And I think she's the first believable threat we've actually had to Becky's belt since Mania.
Okay, murder each other, please.
Well, it's hard to murder each other. We're kind of agreeing, but it's more, I guess, Chen, you think it's a surprise that she's in the main event picture? Who else? What do they do with her?
Well, because she went AOL for like 6 months.
You got worked.
Huh?
You got worked.
I mean, I got work with the bloody cryptic Instagram
Yeah,
page
you got
talking about
worked.
caterpillars and everything like that. I thought she'll come back, get punished like typical Vince McMahon fashion that he does to his wrestlers. And you never know. They might just be building Sasha up and make her lose her first match back.
Oh, she might well lose it, but she's going to be in a long feud with Becky, I think.
And you got to
It's gonna be
understand,
close.
not everyone understands the boss character.
And that's
this
what
is-
we're going to get now, which is
This
great.
is the NXT.
Yeah,
only
we're
the
gonna get it
NXT
now.
audience know. Only the main roster is a different world.
But we're going to get the boss now, and it's going to be explained.
Hopefully, knowing Vince McMahon, he might change the character, change the name of Sasha Banks to something else. You know, Vince is crazy. You can't trust Vince on this. It's Triple H.
Do you think they're going to not make Sasha the boss after bringing her back red hot against the top face in the
No,
company?
I just think I don't want to get my hopes too high. Like I said, she went AOL, and Vince is known for being petty and punishing people.
You say
so
that,
she
so
might
many-
lose her first match.
So many wrestlers get time off now. It's quite a standard thing, but several wrestlers have taken several months off and then come back quite refreshed and done quite well.
Because they asked for time off.
Yeah, she
Didn't ask for time off. She just
how'd you
ran
know that?
away.
How do you know that?
Because it would have been reported then.
You got worked. She took time off. Sure, it might have been agreed completely up front, but they will have discussed it. She's had time off. They wouldn't put her back if they weren't happy. Everyone got worked.
I think, if I'm correct, that she did actually request time off, but after she ran away.
Yeah. So she ran away initially, but then she's been stayed away so long because it was agreed because she needed the time off. She was stressed out, wanted time off.
And didn't
Rusev's
get her
having
things
time
her
off.
way.
Finn Balor's going to get time off. Wrestlers
Yeah,
get
but
time
he
off
asked
now.
for 2 months off. He actually asked and did the favor for Bray Wyatt. He did it the right way. He didn't run away.
I think if you look at it, maybe she didn't.
He didn't
leave
do
on
an
the best
ask
of
to
terms,
take
but-
his ball home. Okay?
I don't know. I think they've been very understanding towards what Sasha was going through, like mentally, and they've actually handled it very well.
Mentally what? She just lost. She was just unhappy that she lost the title after 1 month.
Yeah, you're just believing internet rumor. Just to confirm, I'm saying that Sasha's coming through, going to be red hot now for the next several months. You're saying it's good she's back, but she's not going to get pushed.
I
or
just
she
say
doesn't
don't
deserve to?
get your hopes too high. I'm glad she's back. I've always wanted this heel
But
character.
your main reason she don't get your
But
hopes too high
I'm
is
just
'cause
like,
Vince is
you
crazy.
don't cross Vince like that. And Vince is known for having a history of being petty.
I think you're seeing too much into it. They brought her back big.
Do you remember when Brock Lesnar came back?
Yeah.
But do you remember how he left in like 2004?
Yeah.
Vince wasn't happy. And as soon as he came back, his first match, he lost to John Cena.
After he got hit in the face by someone with a chain wrapped around their fist
It
after
doesn't
dominating
matter.
him for
All
the
that
entire
big
match.
build up and everything. The same thing's probably going to happen to Sasha.
Oh yeah, she might well lose it, but she's going to keep coming back and having several matches.
But
with
I
Becky.
will say this also. I feel like Vince doesn't trust Sasha because she's known for kind of being injury prone.
She's not known for being injury prone.
Like, she's lost, how many title defenses she's had? 4.
That's booking.
And
That's
she's
nothing to
lost
do with injuries.
her first title defense every time.
Yeah, but that's bad booking. That's nothing to do with injuries. I don't understand your
that's
point.
nothing to do with injury, just to the fact
She's
that
not known for being injury prone. I don't know where that's come from. I don't know what injuries she's had while she's been in WWE.
she's definitely had concussion issues before.
Fair enough, that's a concussion, but it's going to happen. But that's not like several examples of it. And she's not had serious injuries. She's not had different types of injuries. She's had concussion.
Like I said, I'm happy she's back. I'm happy she's doing this character, but just don't get your hopes too high.
I think she's the only person that can take the belt off Becky.
Ooh.
I just think she's the next challenger. Like I said, because Becky's red hot, and, that Natalia match was so dead.
Right, I'm going to...
So Sasha is the new challenger.
The judge is talking now. So, this is tough because you both loved it, but Jason has a more optimistic tone than Chen. Both of you made valid points. I think Chen threw out more stuff which kind of invalidated his argument a tiny bit, so I'm going to give the point to Jason. But it was a close call. So, Jason, you win the point and you're in the lead 2-1. So, let's move on to question 4. Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole probably had the best match of the night at TakeOver and arguably the best match of the weekend, including the G1. But that's not what I'm going to talk about. What I'm going to ask is, excluding the main event of NXT TakeOver Toronto, what was the best match at NXT TakeOver Toronto 2019, excluding the main event? So... Yep, Jason, you go first.
I mean, it was a great show overall, so this is a hard one to pick. So I'm going for the freeway for the North American title, because it was actually the most innovative match on the card. It avoided the usual 2 at a time formula for a triple threat match. That's what never works. It was always triple threats where 2 guys in the ring at a time, someone's outside. They did that for a bit, then they started to work in some really clever spots as they picked up the pace. Roderick Strong was a leader on this. These the double elbows when the guys are on the ropes, the double Boston Crab, the rotation of finishes on each other as they became almost like counters. I was believing that Roderick Strong was going to win this match. I really enjoyed it. It was non-stop action, but kept you guessing. And bonus points for, once again, Velveteen Dream coming out. Amazing entrance to I'm the Mountie, which popped me just because I remember that theme tune as a kid. So I enjoyed the whole overall storyline of this. Again, most fun, but everything on that TakeOver show was good.
Chen.
God damn it, Jason. That was my pick as well.
Why is it your pick, I guess?
One, because I felt like, the whole hype about this NXT TakeOver was about, at the end of the night, Undisputed Era be covered in gold. And already, you could say, okay, they lost the tag team titles. Now it's all on Roderick Strong. And like Jason said, you actually thought he might actually win it. Even though they threw Pete Dunne in there, which I thought was a great mix, I actually thought Roderick Strong was always going to get the upper hand. And, like Jason said, Velveteen Dream is just flipping hell. There's no words to describe him. Amazing, athletic, good looking. Just get called up already. I thought he might actually just lose the title and get called up.
Interesting. So, do any of you have any counterpoints against each other? Because, FYI, I'm just going to throw this out there. It was my least favourite match in the card.
So the reason, I'm just going to say, reason...
You've got to convince me why it's your favourite.
Well, I think for me, like I say, I'm going for it because of the innovation. I don't enjoy triple threat matches because there's a formula to them that much. This was the first time in a long time I've watched a triple threat and thought, I've never seen that in a triple threat match. It was some brand new spots and they never slowed down. Triple threats always have that issue where one guy's lying outside the ring and then they rotate who's fighting. They didn't do that. That's why it stood out and was something special.
It's like Jason said, no man was on the floor. One person received a blow, the other person gave a blow to someone else, and that person gave the blow to the other guy. Everyone just kept continuously fighting. No, there was so much action. It was never a situation where it was one-on-one. It was always all 3 men ganging up, fighting each other, tooth and nail.
Fair enough. You know what? I'm going to kill this one dead because this one has no momentum. Jason wins point just because he was there first, to be honest.
I thought maybe I thought you might make us split the point.
No, sorry. I think
so Jason won because he went first. Okay.
Pretty much, but you've gone first twice as well. And you know.
This is what it felt like against Sam last week.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I thought Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai was way better. I thought that match was sloppy.
It was hard to pick, to be honest. I enjoyed every match.
Yeah.
I mean, the women's title match is probably the least impressive, but even that was still good.
Yeah, I felt it was a better wrestling match compared to that triple threat, which I actually felt was sloppy and disappointing to watch. So it's interesting that both of you really loved it. Anyway, the last of the last of the first round. I haven't decided what I'm going to call it. The fifth fall in this 1-4 match. What's next for Bray Wyatt after his win over Finn Balor? Chen, you get to go first.
I get to go first?
Yes, you get to go first.
All right.
This is your third time going first. Jason's only gone first twice, so, you know.
Go for the hottest thing on the roster, in my opinion.
What's the hottest thing in your roster?
Going to take on Becky.
Shane McMahon.
Bray Wyatt versus Shane McMahon. Go ahead, explain that logic.
Well, Shane McMahon's called himself the best in the world. He's pretty much taken us all the screen time on both shows. And I think Bray needs to be the one to take him down. And then go for either the authority figure like Triple H or go for the title. I think he shouldn't just be now that he's taken out Finn Balor, he shouldn't waste his time on any other wrestlers like a Kevin Owens or whatever. Let him stay away from those type of people. Let him go for the people who get the most screen time. Because right now, the fans want more of him. They're screaming for him. And even when he wasn't wrestling, the hottest things on the show was his playhouse.
Jason, what do you think's next?
I forgot how much I love Chen's booking at times. It's hard to compete against that. But
Again, let's talk about your point first.
It's a compliment. I just love, you never know what he's going to do. Okay, so I go very different. I want him to slowly work through some faces on Raw. Take it slow. He does not need to be there every week. It worked because they controlled the amount of exposure of the character. I want more Funhouse promos and then some Fiend sightings as he stalks his new prey. I'd actually start him with some mid-card, baby faces in short feuds. I'd start him with Cedric Alexander, but I'd put him over Strong, which brings out Ricochet to defend Cedric Alexander. Ricochet's kind of like a superhero. It'd be a good feud for those two to work on. And Ricochet's strength is not talking, so Fiend can lead the work on this. And then after that, who else is a superhero? It's Rey Mysterio. You go on to Rey Mysterio. You're just putting him through the mid-card baby faces, slowly building that mystique of the character. Then you get to the feature match. Maybe it's at WrestleMania. Maybe it's the Demon. But that's when you do something big with him. But you have to take it slow and enjoy this character.
Interesting. Two different concepts. Take it slow and versus Shane McMahon. Kill each other's booking, please.
Chen's the guy that gets up on Christmas morning and not only opens his presents before anyone's got up, but also opens his siblings' presents as well.
No
and
cheap
just goes
shots,
through them
get
all.
to the facts.
That's what I'm just describing this booking like. He wants everything now, and he wants it all for himself here. This is madness. Come on. How do I debate this madness?
You have to debate it.
You want to
don't say this is madness without an explanation.
You want Bray to basically be all over the show, getting all of Shane's screen time, burning out the character, ruining everything they've built up, and feuding with a heel when he's also a heel, which makes no logical sense with the Shane character. Just so I'm clear.
We all understand that hype eventually dies, right? So make the most of it. Why not put the title on him as soon as possible and milk it as soon as possible? Because like you said, you enjoyed a 2-minute match. Your attention span is so short, just like a lot of the people. So eventually another new hot wrestler will come along down in 6 months.
The Bray match at SummerSlam was also really short, and that worked amazingly well.
Yeah, but why wasn't your pick?
It was a hard choice between those two, to be honest.
Huh?
It was a hard choice between those two.
I just say, like I said, the WWE is full of so many wrestlers, and every few months there's a new wrestler who comes in with so much momentum. Right now, it's Sasha Banks. So, I'll say, put the title on Bray Wyatt, milk him as much as possible, get that merchandise money, because eventually in 4 or 5 months, pretty much after WrestleMania, no one's going to care. They're going to think about the next wrestler. Wow. And the call-up is probably going to be Velveteen Dream and everything.
Can I just ask a question?
No one's going to care about Rey Mysterio, filled with Rey Mysterio. Or Cedric Alexander.
Why won't they care about the feud of Rey Mysterio and Cedric Alexander?
Because Rey Mysterio... I love Rey Mysterio, but what's he been doing? Is he red hot right now? He's just been in the feud with Andrade, and I don't think anyone's really paying attention to it. He's not been on many pay-per-views either. especially since he got drafted to Raw.
I have 2 points. One, mine's old school booking where you build a character right by having him beat mid-carders and establish that character to go babyface. But question, did you want The Undertaker during his peak period to be on like the show every week? Would you think that would have worked if Undertaker had been on like Raw and Wrestling Challenge and every pay-per-view every week?
But we've had that build.
I want to say, because you think that Undertaker would have lasted as long and been a moneymaker for like 20, 30 years, whatever it is now, if they'd had him on every single show.
I mean, he was pretty much on every single show eventually, right? And now he's not because he's an old timer.
No.
Yeah, I would tend to disagree. As many injuries that kept him away during the latter part of the Ruthless Aggression era.
If I remember correctly, bro, when did you start watching wrestling?
2004.
Wasn't Undertaker featured heavily on SmackDown pretty much every week?
He was on every pay-per-view.
He wasn't on every week of SmackDown, and during the 90s, he was not on every single show. I was there from the start of the Undertaker run. He was not on the show every week.
Yeah, but that's a different time. There was no social media or nothing like that. Everything is different now.
Yeah, and that's why the Fiend works. You don't put him out.
He's on
you
Twitter.
hint at him on social media. You don't put him on the show every week.
Posting pictures of his baby with Braun Strowman or JoJo.
Undertaker's had a baby with Braun Strowman?
Alright, I'm talking about Bray Wyatt.
I would love to see that. That would be the best fantasy booking.
He doesn't need Cedric Alexander or Rey Mysterio. He needs to go for the top people who are getting all the TV time and just put the title on him straight away. They messed him up before, and now is not the time to mess him up again. This is the perfect opportunity.
I disagree completely with everything Chen has said from many years of watching wrestling and not trying to burn a company to the ground within 6 months.
Is that all you got, guys?
I don't know how much I argue with. Like, it's hard to argue with, like, what is your booking logic of, like, Shane and Bray? It just doesn't make any sense.
Because Shane is the one getting the most TV time.
Okay, so why did the Fiend go after him? What's his motivation?
To go after Seth.
So you're telling the Fiend to go after Shane McMahon?
Shane McMahon.
But why?
Because he's pretty. It's like you got Seth.
But you're talking about Shane. No, tell me about Shane.
Seth,
Why are you going after Shane?
And then you got Shane, right? If you go after Shane, in my opinion, Shane's still the top dog. You take out the authority figure, and then you go for the title.
So you take out the heel authority figure to go after the hot
And plus, people will be
face.
cheering for him against Shane, because Shane's pretty much the biggest heel. Everyone finds him annoying.
So you wanted to get cheered against Seth as well?
I mean, don't many fans cheer for the bad guys? Do heels and faces still exist?
You want the main babyface to be booed against the Fiend?
I mean, I think people are getting tired of Seth Rollins, actually.
I disagree.
I think people actually want the title off him. And I think one of the reasons people are cheering for him against Brock Lesnar is because they don't want it on a part-timer.
I don't know how to argue
I think we're
this.
getting distracted, so let's wrap this up. Why Cedric Alexander?
It's not Cedric Alexander. It's Cedric Alexander to Ricochet, to Rey Mysterio, to build Bray up over 6 months.
Okay.
Take your time.
So you don't think he's had enough build-up already?
Right.
I think they just keep building it. He's red hot. You keep building it and you make him nuclear.
The point's done. Why Shane McMahon?
Because he's pretty much the hottest heel on the roster right now. And let's be honest, the crowd reaction that Bray's getting, even though he's meant to be a heel, he's getting cheered a lot.
Okay. I'm so I don't like either booking. I think both of them would bore me. I think Cedric Alexander, Ricochet, Rey Mysterio, that doesn't inspire. Like, Finn Balor's a bigger name than all three of them. And, you know, that's a down step. And you missed out on a point saying that's a downgrade. You're right in saying that no one cares. And there's a guy with a Hoover outside. I just made the middle finger. So, you're right in saying, you know, nobody really cares. But then again, is Shane McMahon really the top dog? You haven't really explained, like, the process behind your booking. It's kind of just left field. There's no explanation. There's no story. There's no logic. And that's the difference here. Really, I would prefer to see Bray Wyatt versus Shane McMahon. But this is a point where I say it's not the answer you give, it's the argument you give. And you gave a weak argument. So
I said he was main event.
No, I've made my decision. Jason is up 4 points to 1.
Bullshit. bullshit.
No, sorry, you
enjoy your
made a weak
shitty
argument.
You enjoy
You
your shitty match as
It's
Bray
not-
versus Cedric
no,
Alexander.
but this is a concept of the show. It's not the answer you give.
this
It's the
happens-
argument you
okay,
give.
okay.
It's the argument you give, and you gave a weak argument. Anyway,
I guarantee you this will happen on TV. We'll see Bray versus Shane more than Bray versus Cedric
The
Alexander.
decision is done. It doesn't
No
matter.
one's gonna
It doesn't
book
matter
that.
what I prefer. I preferred Bray Wyatt versus Shane McMahon because,
And it will
quite frankly,
happen on
Cedric
TV.
Alexander does not interest me.
It will
but the
happen
fact
on
of the matter is,
TV.
your argument sucked. So now you have to win all three in the speed round to tie to take it to a tiebreaker. Jason, you only need one more point to win the game. So. Speed round. Each person has 30 seconds to give their answer, and it's the first of the either or. The person who gives the either or answer first will take up that answer, and the other person will have to take up the other answer. 30 seconds each, and then you'll have a minute to destroy each other. So, first question. In 2019, who is best for business, Goldberg or Matt Riddle?
Matt Riddle.
Jason said Matt Riddle first. You have to take Goldberg.
Okay.
Matt Riddle, since you answered first, you get to go first.
Yeah, so I'm thinking best for business as in long-term money. I'm thinking Riddle is best long-term money-wise. I would use Goldberg and this feud to actually get attention on Matt Riddle and build his credentials as a long-term star. I think Matt Riddle can be really playing off this on social media. He's coming across really cool right now. He's building that a really lot of love with a certain fan base. I'd try and make this a bit better known and actually point out that Riddle is willing to challenge Goldberg. Even if it doesn't happen, get him to get that name out there for that reason.
Cool. Jen.
As a casual fan, this is what I expect them to say. Who the fuck is Matt Riddle? And where can I see him? Is he a WWE wrestler? Who the fuck is he? Goldberg? Oh yeah, that guy who squashes people within a minute and a half. Yeah, the money maker. Yeah, he brings nostalgia. That's all I gotta say.
Cool. Right, you got a minute to destroy each other. Let's go.
I think a lot of people know who Matt Riddle is. If you think about it, he's been on
Compared
UFC,
to the
he's on
global
NXT.
audience,
I think
how many people watch UFC compared to wrestling?
But I'm also saying, I'm thinking what's better business? I'm thinking long-term business. Sure, 2019, you could say this year. I'm thinking long-term best for business, and that's Riddle.
Okay.
Goldberg
Goldberg may be done. His time might be over. But how many times have you seen NXT stars, amazing big stars, get called up to the main roster and failed? So how do you know Matt Riddle will work on the main roster, bro?
I don't. I'm hoping he can make it on the main roster from using Goldberg as a launch pad.
Not gonna happen.
Whereas Goldberg, he's done that. What's Goldberg going to do? He's done the big SummerSlam match. There's nothing left for him now. What do you want Goldberg to do to make money short term?
Also, would Goldberg want to wrestle Matt Riddle?
It's not about who's wrestler, it's who's best for business.
Yeah, but he doesn't need to wrestle Matt Riddle. He can turn it down if he wants to. Even if the idea is brought to him.
Done. Stop. The minute is up. I'm going to give the point to Chan.
I just wanted to have him argue for Goldberg. That was my whole
I mean, Chen was winning already, but the bro was a killer blow. It was just so fucking good. I could not give him the point there. So 4-2, Jason. There's two more questions. Chen, you need to win both to take it to a tiebreaker. Question number 2. Out of the following two options, which woman could be considered the greatest of all time? Charlotte Flair or Trish Stratus? Go.
Charlotte Flair.
Right, Jason, you have to take Trish Stratus. Chen, since you said Charlotte first, you get to go first.
Well, Charlotte's actually proving that she's the best because she's a multiple-time champion. Also, no one can match her athletic ability. I always say she's pretty much the third best wrestler, athletic-wise, currently in the WWE roster. First is Seth Rollins, and then second is AJ Styles. When you look at Charlotte, she'll always be judged on her wrestling performance, even though she's probably using the Flair name. Trish, bra and panties. I'm sorry.
Right, done.
You got to look at it compared to the era that they wrestled in and put the context around it. Trish Stratus in the era she was working in, she didn't have the same quality wrestlers to work with, yet she still was a massive draw. She main evented Raw, she sold a lot of merch, and she still had good matches. And I don't care how many title reigns you've had, I care how long you've held the belts for. I'd imagine Trish's total reigns actually add up to pretty similar to Charlotte when you think about it.
Can I say something?
Well, point's done. Murder each other for a minute.
Okay. Main evented Raw. Ooh! Main evented WrestleMania, bitch. You were there. Broad was there.
Wow.
I I think you have to look at, again, it's the context of the time. No one had ever main evented.
Puppies.
No one had ever main evented Raw as a female star had ever main evented Raw before. She broke down walls, not Charlotte. And the reason Charlotte was in the main event is because she gate crashed Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey's match.
Any other points? Come on, you got another half a minute.
Okay, so is that it? Is that it? Charlotte's been in Hell in a Cell matches, ladder matches, Money in the Bank matches. What has Trish been in? Just a normal regular match, bra and panties. She was a manager, of what, TNA was it?
Again, it's
Charlotte came into the WWE as a wrestler. Yeah, she might have had the Flair title on her, the name on her, but she wrestled.
You got to think about the context
She
of the time.
wrestled.
Trish never had the chance to do that.
No more points. The point goes to Chen again. It's 4-3. I think Chen, the WrestleMania point was a killer blow. So
The match she gate crashed, you mean? The match she shouldn't have been in, but we all thought she shouldn't have been
that's called booking, and let's be honest, it's going to be Ronda
pretty
versus
weak.
Charlotte. Becky was the one who gate crashed it, and rightfully so. What a lady. Anyway, speaking of women's wrestling, we'll keep on the same theme. Who should face Shayna Baszler at the next takeover?
Candice.
I haven't said either or yet. Candice
obvious.
LeRae or Io Shirai, and I'm going to let Chen take a pick here because you jumped the gun. Chen, which one would you like to see Shayna Baszler face? Come on, Candice LeRae or Io Shirai?
Shirai.
Fair enough. Jason gets his point, Candice, but you get to go first again.
Because I've seen some of the matches Shirai has performed in, like death matches. And now that she's a heel, I think she could just take a bigger beating, give a bigger beating as well. And she's just way more creative. Candice is just like, another blonde. She's talented, but I think with Shirai, they can market her differently and make her stand out more. And that moonsault with the chair, fucking hell, bro. I would like to see her the beating that she gives to Shayna.
Your point is done, Jason. Go.
I'd like to know about these Io Shirai death matches. I'm not familiar with those ones, but Candice LeRae is the one who's had the real death matches. She's the one who's had the brutal, bloody matches. She's the hardcore of these two for definite. When you look at some of her like pre-NXT experience, she's getting over really well. She's been around for a long time in NXT. She's not actually had that many matches. People associate her with Johnny, so they've seen her a lot. They like Johnny, they like her. She's not worn them out in the ring. I think she's the obvious one. She's also the face versus the heel. Yeah, whether you're doing heel v heel if you go with low.
Done. Murder each other for a minute. Chen to save the match, Jason to win.
So can you tell me about these death matches?
Have you not seen that one on Instagram where they use like an electric bat or whatever?
No,
She gets electrocuted.
I did not know Io Shirai had a lot of death matches. This is news to me.
And also with Candice, she's just another blonde who'll get lost in the shuffle, especially when she gets called up.
But just to confirm,
Also,
Io Shirai to...
Candice is using her husband to get that momentum. Shirai's just doing everything on her own.
So you want Shirai to have another crack
And they're
at
both
the women's
aggressive.
title.
Yeah, they're heel versus heel.
Yeah.
But how often do you get that?
They did it with Bianca Belair already against Shayna Baszler. They've done that once.
Yeah, but compared to what? Face versus heel all the bloody time.
There's a reason they do it that way. It's called booking that makes sense.
Oh, what? Then you want to see two powers of evil fight each other and just eliminate
No,
each
it doesn't
other.
draw.
Huh?
It doesn't draw, so no.
Are you sure?
Yeah, hence they don't do it.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I remember one of the great matches was Shield versus the Wyatt.
Right,
Both
we're
were
done.
heels.
We're done. Oh, boy. Oh, man. The winner of this point and the match, Jason. Sorry, you failed to give an example of a death match. Something about electric battle that makes no sense. Candice LeRae is another blonde. Do your research.
By the way, I recommend seeing that. Who's it? Young Bucks versus Joey.
You'll love this match. Yeah, Young Bucks versus Candice LeRae and Joey Ryan. Candice bleeds all over the place.
Takes a thumbtack boot super kick.
It's
hardcore.
amazing, and they do chant she's hardcore. But I think Jason made also the logical point: heel versus heel booking doesn't work. So that wraps it up. Jason, you're now 1-1 in the Holy Shoot Wrestling Challenge series. How's it feel to be the perfect 500?
I'm kind of like Brock Lesnar in his early days of UFC, right? Didn't he have a similar record?
No, he won his first 4 matches with a win.
I feel like Brock Lesnar anyway.
Do your research.
I mean, Sam's more Brock Lesnar than you. Do your research coming from you, Chad, after that last thought. Jesus Christ. How's it feel to be, how's it feel to have the only losing record in Holy Shoot at the moment? 2
Well,
episodes
I
in.
felt like everyone was cheering for me, the underdog, and I almost had my Kofi Kingston,
Chris is
Daniel
booing you.
Bryan. I almost had my Daniel Bryan, Kofi Kingston moment.
Shut up, Jen.
Shut up, Chris. Don't be rude to our guests. Bad Chris. Why weren't you fighting?
Why was I not fighting?
Yeah. I'll fight you.
Chris is a lover, not a fighter. That's why.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's the point. Well, you know, one day he'll step into the arena. I
Yeah,
won't,
well-
because I'm the host and I'm too cowardly. But one day you should join us and make it a triple threat match next time. I think.
All right. You're on.
I'm not on. Those two guys are on.
Yeah, those guys are.
Yeah, maybe Sam. We could have a fatal 4-way. Who knows?
Yeah.
Probably.
Maybe we'll have a Royal Rumble one day. 30 entrants.
30 entrants.
That's going to be an interesting show. The debate.
Oh my god!
30 people debate their point.
30 people debate their point, and one by one, the weakest point gets eliminated.
that's
Maybe in January.
It's happening in January.
Fuck, how do we organise that? Anyway, so that wraps it up for another week of the Holy Shoot Wrestling Challenge. If you like our show, then remember to subscribe, like us, give us a 5-star review, pretty please. And also, you can follow us on social media. Like us on Facebook, follow us at Holy Shoot Pod on Twitter, and at Holy Shoot Wrestling on Instagram. And also remember our Fireflies. Let us in.
Cool.